Hello, everyone.
Hi, Scorpio Moon. How are you?
Fine, and I know we are delayed today. Sandy and I were chit-chatting, and the time
Very
passed.
passionately, I might add.
Yeah. So, before we begin, I would like to ring the meditation singing bowl to clear space and energy, and we can get started.
Sounds good.
All right. So, my first question is, do you hear any background sounds?
I do not.
Okay, good. Because my son has his music playing and stuff.
And my laptop is actually being quiet for once. I've had it cut off for a couple of days, so sometimes the fan cuts on and you can hear it, but it seems to be quiet.
Oh, hi, No More Lies. I just
Hello. Nice to see
so
you.
yeah, so I don't know. Let's go ahead and talk about this full moon that we have. I think it's the last super full moon that we have for the year.
Yes, it's the fourth, and in Aries, which is very fiery, ruled by Mars. So that brings out the passion in arguments and and debates. So let's see. It was 5:58 a.m. this morning
Mm.
and 2:58 a.m. for you. So we're on
Oh,
the waning side of it, and it has an influence of about 3 days. So Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It's the first sign of the natural zodiac and is typically associated with children. If you know people who are heavy Aries energy, they age very youthfully. They always want to be first, just like little kids, be first. They are represented by the ram, which is synonymous with compulsive actions, like where they tend to um, act before they think things through. They can be, argumentative. They're very passionate about their positions on things, and I've done a lot of charts, and when somebody has Aries on their rising, they're usually very tall.
oh, my twin is Aries rising.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's taller than I am.
He has a lot of Virgo, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah, Virgo stellium, but
Right.
Aries rising.
Yeah. So I guess what I was thinking of, Aries sun and Aries rising, that combination seems to make a very, well, Mars was the god of war and justice. So associated with a soldier, a warrior. Hey, JK, how are you?
She says she's not tall.
Well, it's not absolute. It's just an observation I've made with charts sometimes. Um, the most prominent aspect with this, so Mars rules Aries, and the planet Mars right now is holding hands with the South Node, which triggers the nodal axis. So that brings into this full moon this whole feeling of destiny. The nodal axis has to do with, fated encounters, things, karmic things we would not be able to avoid. Um, Being that it's holding hands with the South Node would bring up things from the past and things that are familiar. And I don't know if everyone would agree when you're going through a heartbreak or an upset, we tend to want to be or reach out to people who are from our past as some sort of comfort. We find comfort in things that are familiar. So you may have memories of something in the past that are very prominent on your mind. It's
Can
in
I ask you a question? And I don't mean to cut you off.
you're fine.
Is that a Aries thing?
Which thing?
About like um
Memories
looking,
from the past.
yeah, memories from the past, always going back to like a past
I think
person.
I think it's more about the nodes, the north and south nodes.
Okay.
So when you're having those feelings, some planet is triggering your nodal axis,
Mhm.
because Aries energy is actually very you know, quick. It doesn't spend a lot of time contemplating much. But what we were talking about with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, that brings in the emotional water part of this energy. And Saturn, Neptune is that whole learning our lessons, um, memories from like growing up, maturing. Saturn makes us learn our lessons and mature. This Neptune makes us fantasize, dream, not see things how they are. So those two energies in Pisces is deeply spiritual, you know, so that is also connected to memories of the past or wanting to find comfort in things that are familiar.
Mm.
Saturn is usually associated with the most dominant parent. You know, typically you would say Saturn is the father, but if you had a very dominant mother, it could be the mother. So often when you might be feeling a little puny or forlorn, you may long for a parent or that parental kind of nurturance or energy. Whether you actually got it or not as a child is another thing altogether. But there's still that need of wanting to feel comforted, to feel like something is familiar, because whatever happened is disruptive and makes us feel insecure. Um, so the primary gist of Aries 2 is I am. It's that affirmation of I am, I am, I am. And so in this full moon, and full moons tend to be the ending of a cycle. So say you completed a really difficult project, and so that's the finality of the full moon, but at every end there is a beginning, right? It's the cyclical nature of energy. So where you might be completing or tying things up with the Mars triggering that nodal axis, those are fated encounters. So it may be a new cycle. You know, maybe you've broken up with someone and feel very down about that, but this is the kind of energy where, you know, um, a new cycle can begin with someone you're fated to meet. And the thing about Aries that is very healing is our inner child work, right? So um, there are patterns that we come into this life path with, and they affect our relationships. And specifically, when we get into adult romantic relationships, there's always some connection to our perception of our childhood. We're always projecting or looking for some completion out of something outside of ourselves. That's very Aryan. But the connection in this full moon to the node axis would bring home that feeling of, um, you know, just what you said to me a few minutes ago. What's the pattern that I'm trying? What's the karmic pattern I am trying to break? Why does something happen to bring up these feelings? And how is it connected to patterns from our past? And with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, it's deeply spiritual. And these people, we've probably journeyed many lifetimes together, and probably why we're interacting with them or have met them is to reflect on just that. And like you gave me great advice, don't run from it, because then the pattern would just cycle over again. So being able to sit with a really uncomfortable feeling under a fire Aries moon that has some, I'll go through some other interactions it's having, but that Mars that rules Aries sitting with the north south node makes it very like, um, I want to say prehistoric. I mean, like, what's that word for, your base instinct, your
Primor- pri- uh,
primordial, or yeah, what,
pr-
like the basic instinct to survive, Neanderthal, the where we eat, and we survive, just that basic instinct to survive. And life has gotten very complicated with all of the electronic highway and different ways, how complex generation after generation has gotten. And so a very healing way to do this very intense energy, which Mars is very passionate. So however you're feeling, probably feeling pretty intense about it. But if we can get grounded, walk barefoot on the grass or on the earth, really like physically ground ourselves, and not be swept away, by that fire, compulsive kind of energy, I think we'll navigate where we are. Mars is very assertive. It's very aggressive. Um, it's about courage. It's having the courage to make those changes. We all know people, and we've probably all been in a space at some point in our life where we just, we want to be mopey, and we're allowed to be mopey. And sometimes it's courageous to change that pattern that we're familiar with, right? So, um, a most obvious kind of thing is, doing something that you think you'd never do, zip line or a tandem skydive jump or scuba diving, the thing that really kind of sets off that fight flight, inside of you, to like sit with that and take baby steps towards, working through what's being triggered there. And with the child connection with Aries being the first sign, a great piece of advice I was given a long time ago about adversity and difficult emotions and getting through hardships in your life is to contemplate, what did you enjoy as a child,
hmm.
and try to reinvent that as an adult. So, years ago, these adult coloring books came out as a way to stress management. And it is like a meditation. And, as a child, you could sit for hours with your crayons and coloring book. And I don't know why this popped in my head, but I recently saw a thing where you can light a crayon, that wax, if you like had a power outage. It makes me want to go buy a pack of crayons to have around, because you can burn a crayon and it'll give you light for like an hour. I know. Who would
I mean, that's good to know, right?
get a pack of crayons during the weekend, the full moon, Um,
Survival, like
yeah.
duties.
Well, so Mars is the warrior. So it is about, surviving and the battle.
Mhm.
I think for a lot of us in metaphysics, it's the battle of the mind, right? It's the battle of our will. It's the battle of being brave enough to recognize what we do to self sabotage ourselves. And then what are we going to do about it?
Mm.
Um, I've consistently shared the woes of my elderly neighbor with our viewers. And this, past week, he went to the hospital again. And, each trip to the hospital, which over the last year, there's been probably a hospital trip every month or two. Um, he just comes out more and more demoralized, right? And so, he's in his 80s and had a bad heart attack a year ago, and his heart is weak. Um, they treated tumors in his liver with radiation seeds first of the summer, and that kind of made everything change, like no energy, weak, nauseous, no appetite. And not eating and drinking has created the whole issues of dehydration. I bring him up because he's a great example of, you know, again, to get through difficult, chaotic times is having the will that you are the survivor. This full moon is about tapping into your inner warrior, and it might even be the inner warrior that protects your inner child. Say you're in an abusive situation and you had abuse in your childhood. So it's all very familiar. But to have the bravery to get to, a community outreach or make that pattern change. Um, and so, I end up fussing at him a lot about, you know, you don't live to eat, but you need to eat to live, so you have the decision. Your free will has the decision of how important is it to you to feel better. You certainly don't feel better by not eating at all. So it's again you know being able to watch how our mind influences things around us and what we're creating in our reality. And, the thing about fire energy, that's another good way to navigate chaos, is it's very creative. So, several times within a short period of time, I keep thinking of those sip and paint classes where, you go and paint a picture. I mean, it's completely recreational, right?
Mhm.
You're not doing anything with any other real purpose other than just to try to unwind and relax and tap into your inner artist. And that's a really good way to be doing this weekend. Pampering. um, I found some of those eye patch hydrogel things that you gave me. I found them. And so that's my plan this weekend, is to do a little, basic pampering. If that just means, a hot shower and a couple of eye patches. But I think it's the message we send to the universe that, hey, you're not going to sweep me up in this chaos of this energy. I'm dialing down. I'm reflecting and being grounded and want to see what is being presented in my reality. Um, so the big thing with the nodal axis being activated by Mars opens many doors of opportunities. So you may even, either run into by accident or intentionally reach out to like a prior employer, or like if you're someone that has clients, you may do something that reaches out to prior clients, because there's a lot of opportunity for growth under this energy and meeting our potential. Because whenever we're doing our North Node, we're stretching out of what's comfortable to fulfill some sort of potential. And
Mhm.
so if it makes you, set your boundaries with bossy people, or you may be bossy. I felt like when I was fussing at my neighbor the other night about you need to eat and drink, whether you feel like it or not. I said to him, I said, I'm feeling really bossy right now. And I'm
Yeah,
not a
who are you to tell me to eat or not? Like,
right, right. And
it's my free will to choose if I want to eat.
right, right. And I don't want to make the show about him, but he to me represents so many lessons for all of us to learn from. You know,
Mhm.
he's lived a long, 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 long life. And, you can see 80 and 90-year-old people like Grandma Moses didn't even start painting till she was in her 80s. And her paintings are worth millions of dollars. So you're never too old to fall in love. You're never too old to try something new, a new hobby. I know that I have mentioned this in the past, but it's just so precious that it's worth repeating. The study that they did on all of these nuns that were like living to be 100 years old, and they were studied to find out, what's that fountain of youth? How do they keep going? And they're healthy and they're viable, and their their reasoning is that they always make themselves learn something new. They're always learning. And at the time of the study, they were learning how to play the harp, which evidently is a very complex instrument to learn.
Mhm.
um, I've seen this commercial. I don't know what drug it is advertising, but it's all of these like senior citizen people with gray hair dancing, like they're learning how to line dance, or, so doing something that is out of your comfort zone, that's recreational and fun and taps into something you enjoyed as a child, is really how to do this full moon. And we are coming into an eclipse season, which begins October 14th. We'll have a series of 3 eclipses, which we'll go into more detail on as the season unfolds. But an eclipse is like taking a full moon, like this, a super moon, and multiplying it by 10. I mean, it's very strong gravitational pull between the Earth and uh, the solar system. So uh, it also triggers, it frees up energy. Like if you've been stagnant or you've had things kind of not moving forward or whatever, we're getting into the next several, like 8 weeks of stuff popping. And so, getting your priorities straight under Aries, it's assertive, So, what are your priorities? This would be a good weekend to sit down and just
There's just like too much to do. It's like go out and jump out of an airplane, get your priorities straight. Like, I mean,
go
you
zip
really have to,
lining,
yeah, you got to do like
do a
X, Y, and Z.
facial.
Yeah, go pamper yourself. You can't skip out, okay? Like, but make sure you
I'm,
get your shit
I'm
done.
giving your options. These are options. Choose your
Okay. I'm
options.
like, well, I have a lot, and I don't know if 2 days is going to be enough,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Oh gosh. So Mars in Libra um, is very much associated to the justice system, legal proceedings. If you,
Court case. Like, you got not
yeah,
only that, you got to go to,
yeah, well, it's like, the way the wheels of justice turn so slowly, under this kind of energy, you could have like a final hearing, or a final decision, or things, completing when it comes to, say you put in adoption papers, and that is an excruciatingly long process, and that becomes final. Rescuing an animal is the same way, just it's going to be different for everyone. Venus is in Leo right now, and it is making a positive aspect to the North Node, a trine. And trines are considered lady luck. Leo, Venus and Leo all by itself is extremely romantic. Mars ruling Aries is very passionate. Um, you know, I don't know why I got this vision when I was doing the blog on lionmountainhealing.com for this full moon, but I just had visions of skinny dipping because it's pretty brave to take off your clothes, and especially if you're, around people you don't know, or a group of people, like a party or something, and then, jump into a body of water. That taps all of it, checks all the boxes, right? It's bravery. It's doing something as a kid when you used to run around naked. You're doing something probably you don't do very often or with any kind of regularity, or maybe not. It depends, I guess, what part of the world you live in. Plenty of nude beaches, you know, internationally. And I guess there's some here in the States, but I don't know where they are right off the top of my head. I'd have to Google that. But
Well, they're mostly down in Florida.
my point being is, Mars is not bashful at all. I mean, it's passionate. It's brave. So, you know, um, I was talking to a girl earlier today, and she was showing me all of these, like men on a website that, she's trying to find dates, and I said to her, I said, you are so brave. I don't have the guts to do it. And she's had a couple of dates, and so you might decide, like, say you've had not a pleasant ending to a relationship and you've been moping around. This might be the kind of energy where you get online and you know swipe right. Isn't that what they say? Swipe left or right? I don't know. I don't know about these things, but this is certainly the kind of energy that you would step out of your comfort zone to do something very passionate and romantic.
Mm.
Venus and Leo. It's very artistic. Maybe you would visit a museum on your own, romance yourself. If you crave romance, then, and you don't have a partner, then figure out, do the thing you would do if you did. If you want to light a candle to have dinner, do it. I mean, these are the types of things that I feel move blockages in our energetic grid. And that's what we're heading into for the fall, is major up level of our energy.
Mm.
And you can either let it beat you up and, you know, um, I get the vision of, like, some kind of, those um, like house banners, or, different holiday flags they put out for whatever. And
Mhm.
it's just getting, threadbare from the wind beating it around. And that's, I think, left to its druthers, what this kind of energy could do to you. It's just very exhaustive. So take the bull by the horns. There's a lot of planets in Taurus, so that is a appropriate analogy. And what does Taurus do? He's the lazy bull that sits under the tree and sips lemonade and smells the flowers. So sometimes the best way to do an energy is the opposite action. This is very aggressive, fired up, passionate energy. So if you're,
Well, let me ask you this. This is a super full moon.
yes,
So you say 3 days. Is would it last about a whole week or like
sure,
what
sure.
okay.
Everybody, I mean, it's already been kind of building up this week, right?
Mhm. Well,
And
I
so,
mean, also we have the eclipses coming up. So I'm just
right,
trying to figure out like we're having the super full moon,
the
but
last of four. So
yeah.
we've had several intense full moons over the last few months, right?
Mhm.
We've had a lot of um, intense aspects to Uranus, which is that electricity, Pluto, which is change, the Tower card. And then we still have Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, which is very connected to your spiritual growth.
Well, it definitely sounds like there's a lot to
There
come.
is a lot going
Like
on.
like it's like a dash of this and a sprinkle of this and
Well, and then astrology, that's the uniqueness about everyone's chart is those planets are going to aspect you differently. Everybody's going to be feeling the same but different. You're going to feel the energy building, but depending on your circumstance in your life may make the difference of how it plays out. It may be the breakup of a long relationship. It may be the fated encounter of someone new. I keep getting, like something to do with past employers. You may, be unhappy in your job and reach out to somebody you really liked in the past that you worked for, or you have a business and you want to do some sort of PR reaching out to prior clients to, remind them you're in business and contact you if you can help. I mean, this is a really great time for propagating and, depending on what part of the world you live in, certainly, um,
nothing. I want to share something, but go ahead.
please, no, I was at a good,
Oh, okay. Well, I was at the hair salon earlier this week, and
and your hair looks great.
well, thank you. It could have been better, but I did wait a long time to get it done, so I'm not expecting a miracle. But anyways, I was sitting there with my eyes closed and I heard this hairdresser and this lady talking. The lady who was brand new to that salon was like, "Yeah, I work for the state. I work for the Department of Health and I'm like this, high level person." And she was just talking about like, you know, um, she just recently had a baby and now they're asking us to go back to work. And so that didn't work out for me. So here I am. I'm working at this job and I'm 100% remote. And now we have like this in-person thing that we have to go to, the whole nine like that. And then the hairdresser, she was getting married. Now, prior to her saying that she was getting married, it started off with well, just letting you know, like my rate is like 65, but if you come back next time it's going to be 75. I just wanted to give you a heads up because like prices are going up. And then later on, as she kept talking and talking, she was like, well, I'm getting married and it's such a big ordeal, but I told my husband that I wanted to elope, but he insisted to have a wedding because he wanted to watch me, like walk down the aisle or something like that. And I'm like, is that some bullshit or what? Now I don't know. Okay, for everyone else who is watching this, okay, do you think that that is like a big thing that the man wants to see their woman like at the altar? Do you hear that kind of a thing coming from a man?
No,
Isn't that a bunch of bullshit to me? Like, I was like sitting here, like, yeah, lady, so you're jacking up your prices, so you're getting married.
that
Like,
kind of connects, to finance the wedding, I
yeah,
guess.
she kept saying, like, it's so expensive. It's like, when we're getting married, we're just gonna like be in debt. And then, and then she's like, well, would you like to book another like appointment for the holidays? And I'm like, wow, she is really milking this one.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah. So I had to share that because um her and the lady that was in the chair was like, yeah, we had a wedding too. It was like the one in the forest, and but it was a small wedding, but yeah, it is pretty pricey. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I don't know, like, I've never heard a man, like, and I get that they get married and they're supposed to be like happy, but I never heard that the man insists on having a wedding.
Oh, I think she sounds delusional.
Like what?
That's
I
being
I mean
pricey.
like I mean on TV, hell. Yeah, baby, let's get married. No, we're not getting eloped. We're having a full-on wedding. Like
Yeah. I want you to go spend 5 grand on that frilly dress and another grand on the cake. And I heard an ad on the radio driving today about someplace advertising. It was $6,000 diamond rings for like $100 a month or something about promoting, buying a diamond ring. That, I mean, I'm like, $6,000 for a diamond ring. If I had $6,000, I don't think that's what I'd spend it on, but that's just me.
6,000 on a ring? Mm.
Where I worked for part time, they had diamond engagement rings that were like 25 grand.
That's what I was thinking. Like 6,000 ain't nothing. That's like, what is it? Like little rhinestones and stuff.
What is it? Isn't it about a carat? I think a carat is about 8,000.
But also depends on the quality too.
But I guess what made me think of it is with the wedding, between a cake and a dress and a ring and the whole thing now is like destination weddings. And it just gets, it's
Or
just,
you can go to Vegas and go through a drive-through and right, I know Marlies because she lives in Vegas. Yeah, you can go to the drive-through chapel, get married, and have
I
the little
saw
certificate.
something about, since Lisa Marie Presley died, her daughter, which would be Elvis's granddaughter, is now full owner of Graceland, and that she is taking Graceland to another level where you can rent it out for weddings. They're making it a musical venue. They're like
Mm.
opening it up. She was being interviewed and she's like, I want more transparency. I want people to be able to come here and learn more about him. Yeah, and Elvis will marry you. Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be like your thing.
Actually not.
Really? No?
No, I've never wanted a Las Vegas Elvis Chapel wedding. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Other people can participate in that. That's not my thing.
Oh, okay.
But I just, you made me think of, so that's a creative expansion of an
Okay.
existing thing. So that's very Aries, fired up energy with Mars conjunct the nodal axis, right? So that's a good example of as something established, taking it to another level.
Mm.
So look in your life about, what's been stagnant or maybe where you wanted something to expand or grow. And this is the kind of energy to take it to another level. Maybe it's your meditation practices. Maybe you want to spend more intense type focus on. I was watching a type of Tai Chi recently that it's a combination of Tai Chi and breathing, and it was like a lot more movement than
Mm.
what I've seen as Tai Chi. So taking something that you've known one way and expanding on it and embellishing it and giving it that fire, passion is what this energy is all about. And so Mars is also about fairness, so the karmic scales balance with a conjunction to the nodal axis. So if you feel like say you think you may have lost an inheritance or lost a person. This is the kind of time we're going into this last few months of the year where the karmic scales balance. So that's good. I mean, there's a lot of good to it. It's just very active. It's very sort of, you know, you'll see people very animated during these energies, right?
Yeah, I'm not
More,
sure if I can handle that whole animated. I'm like, calm down. Like, are you okay? Like, you have a little bit more energy.
it's
But yeah.
interesting. Yeah. And everybody will express it a little differently.
Mhm.
So, you might shift your priorities. Again, I keep coming back to like seeing somebody making a list of, we've got still a couple of asteroids in Virgo, and um, that wanting to be organized, right? So maybe you want to clean out a closet or do some decluttering. This is all, trying to channel the chaotic kind of energy into a purpose, some kind of completion cycle, which is a full moon. And, you know, laying low a little bit, because people will be more, I think, angry or exasperated. There's an exhaustion to this energy. And if you don't have metaphysical practices, meditation, or, some kind of physical exercise to move your energy and be aware of how you're feeling and how it affects, left to its own, you could have a lot of people just, in all out debates and, you know, uh, split ups, sudden split ups, um,
So it definitely sounds like a time of pros and cons depending on like what's
where,
going
yeah, where
on.
you are with your life. And,
Mhm.
and if you're in the con part, where things aren't going so well, that's where it's the opportunity to, reflect on your past lessons, that Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces, where have you felt this way in the past, and how can you connect it to a pattern that you can, alter, that you
Mhm.
don't have to repeat that same pattern. And it usually comes down to some kind of discipline in your mind, decluttering your mind. Maybe my neighbor, he just rubs his head. He's like, there's just so much on my mind. He's so worried about what's going to happen to his wife and how to take care of, you know, 60 years of um, homestead and, life. And I'm like, well, just, take it a day at a time. You just can't make all these decisions at once. You just get shut down. So that's where, um, if you haven't made priorities, it's a time to make priorities. If you have some priorities, it might be a time to shift something here or there,
Well, I
maybe.
have a question in regards to that. I just recently came across some literature on life insurance.
Ooh, I have a life insurance license. I
So
don't.
what do you feel about that? Should I wait until I'm 20 years older or like,
No, it gets more expensive as you age.
Mhm. And I think you get reimbursed if you stop, right? Like if you don't go through the whole thing, don't you get
No,
some?
you never get any of your premiums back. The best, I guess the best deal is to hook up with a group insurance, where an employer can do very well to offer life insurance to people that they pay for, and you don't go through any medical underwriting. You know, Basically, for an individual to go and get life insurance involves some sort of health check,
Oh
um,
yeah, this one says no health check.
like 9.95 a month or something, no matter what your age.
No. I saw my age range and it was like 50, like under $50 a month. which is still like,
So you have to read the contract closely because you
mm-hmm.
want to know what happens to those premiums as you get older. Do they adjust it? Do they have an age adjustment? Is it fixed? I will tell you, since you brought it up, I would not have normally brought this up, but you brought it up, so I'm going to spill it out there. To
Okay, and plus
first,
somebody might want to know too, right?
first off, remember that any kind of insurance is a contract. So read the contract before you make any commitment, and read the fine, the little print, because basically insurance companies are in the business of making a profit, and they try to protect themselves from any kind of liability or claims possible.
Mm-hmm.
So many policies start out at one amount, and they might be $100,000 policy when you're 50 years old, but when you die at 80, they're worth about 18,000. So
Wow.
does it have a cost of living clause? Does it
Hmm.
keep up with the cost of living? But my neighbor who I was talking about has been paying dearly for many years on a long-term care insurance, which now life insurance has sort of put under its umbrella. So to go out and buy long-term care in and of itself is not on the market, but you can buy life insurance that includes long-term care in addendums. So what he's finding out, it's very deceptive, because he's paid $500 or more a month for him and his wife for many years, and they're at a stage in their life where they need adjustments within their home and care, um, and like something like getting one of those chairs that takes you up the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like $4,000. Well, you have to pay for that and then file a claim with that policy, and they'll reimburse part of it. So, understanding, and you have to meet
Well, what
certain
it doesn't
criteria.
Medicaid or something like, or Medicare take care of something like that?
No. So Medicare is just medical services. That doesn't help you stay in your home with home health care, or, things you need aging. It takes care of, surgery, lab tests, doctor's appointments, hospitalization. It doesn't help you stay in your home with added aids as you age for what you might need. Um,
So what
I,
would you recommend for something like that to help you cover cost of these expensive?
that's what I was saying, is now life insurance contracts have language that includes long-term health care.
Okay, long-term health care is a thing to look for. Okay.
It's usually within a life insurance policy. They are all different.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're serious about getting life insurance, you want to uh, see your options. Don't go with the first one, and you want to understand that contract. So the same guy that sold them their insurance policy is still around. They have spoken to him, and he can't even tell them what the process is for filing a claim or trying to start to access the benefits of this policy they've been paying on forever.
Oh my God, that
So,
sucks.
so one of your considerations might be to take that $50 a month and putting it in an investment of some sort.
Like an IRA?
Yeah. I don't know that the whole insurance policy genre is the best investment.
Mm, okay. IRA, guys. IRA first, and then maybe insurance.
Annuities is another there's some tax benefits to an annuity.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I, I have a life insurance policy. I've sold maybe, you know, half a dozen in 12 years. I don't personally think it's a great investment, but that's my personal opinion. If you're on staff somewhere with an employer, many of them offer group life insurance policies that don't cost you a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you,
Okay.
you know, you might want to check out, you know,
No, I have a person that I was talking to about the IRA. So I might revisit that individual to get it started because basically it's like the same investment, and I think I get a tax break too. So.
so No More Lies is asking, and I'll be happy to have your email, but you're asking if I have life insurance, is okay to switch to someone else. So that's kind of an open-ended question that does not have a direct answer. If you have a life insurance policy with company A, but you want, and that has an agent associated to it, you can stay within that company and that policy with a different agent. But if you're going to a different carrier, company B, you may have a surrender value for the policy that you've already had, which will be nothing close to what you've paid into it. Depending on how long you've had it, it may not have any cash value. So you don't want to just switch. You want to see what are the conditions in your current policy for ending it. But I would say generally to that question, it's not okay to just switch to someone else. There are repercussions of the money you've put in, but people do it all the time. It's not that you can't, it's just really understanding why you're switching, and is what you're switching to a more stable investment. Um,
Yeah, because she's wanting to increase, which, you know.
so the current policy, um, well, here's another thing. I mean, you can keep policy A and keep paying the premiums and go out and get another policy. You don't
Mhm.
have to just have one, but you know, it, it's a mindset and it's a personal. Uh,
Honey, why don't you get an IRA? Just saying, keep your current insurance and then get an IRA, and then
I
don't tell nobody.
I think that it's important in the current economic situation to diversify your investments.
Mhm.
Have many pockets of attempts to save, and save for the future or save for the aging process or whatever it is. And probably one of the most basic ones is to actually buy gold or silver, buy
Did
precious
you
metals.
did you hear that Costco sold little things of gold and they sold out?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I think it's like 1 ounce gold coins or it was something like that. I don't think it was bars of gold, but it was like coins, and they sold out. So I'm like, wow, Costco's got it going on.
So JM Bullion is a good website to go and check out for precious metals, in that there's the value of that metal and then what they call spot. So these companies that sell precious metals have to make money. So there's the value of the ounce of whatever, then what that company is going to add on to be their service fee for selling it to you. And
Mhm.
each company has a different amount that's not consistent. But JM Bullion is a very old, well established company. Um, I had a friend turn me on to it. I've had other friends use it. It feels like a secure place to put your money and get shipped whatever you've ordered.
Yeah, that honestly, that's where I buy my silver from. My
And they have little, like 1/10 ounces of gold.
they
You
they
can
have
buy
a like they
smaller.
even have sales too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, not that we're being endorsed, guys, but yeah, that we I guess we both agree on jam bullion.
and what to put your money in. I mean, one of the things that is, we don't talk about a lot because, it's disturbing is how the current astrological trends are affecting financial markets. So, if the US dollar is losing value, then it's important to double think, what are you putting your dollars into? Um, when you're putting it into precious metal, something you can have at home, and it doesn't lose value, that might be something to consider.
Mhm.
Talking about Mars and the justice fairness system, this week our Senate lifted sanctions from Iraq, and that allows Iraq the freedom to revalue their dinar. So when you look at the world economy, the US dollar is, worthless. But other countries are in a growth mode, and it's very volatile right now, which is very Mars. This weekend in the US, you know, it's a question as to whether or not we'll have a government shutdown. And I think the debt ceiling is like $333 trillion or something. So
Sounds
it's,
like we won the lottery on that.
it just gets into unreal numbers. So a lot of volatility, all the more reason to, be grounded. Don't be swept up by the panic or be swept up by the compulsive nature of an Aries full moon conjunct the node axis. I think when the nodal axis is so heavily impacted by a lunation, it really does make people um, reconsider what's going on in their life. I think this is a time when you'll find people like what you're doing. You're evaluating your future and where do you want your investments and what legacy do you want to leave, and all those kinds of serious life issues. So you're doing the lunation. I would just say read the fine print and go really slow with deciding where
Oh,
you.
I'm going slow. I'm in no big hurry. And if it's anything insurance related, I'll be sure to ask you for your advice.
Well, I mainly do Medicare, so I mainly deal with seniors on Medicare. But
And by the way, if anybody needs help with their Medicare, Sunny is the go-to for that.
well, I'm happy to help, and I don't charge any fee to help someone evaluate their situation. The annual open enrollment is from October 15th to December 7th, and I can be reached at lionmountainhealing@gmail.com.
Mhm.
So, boy, we sure are getting serious, aren't we, about life?
Life
Oh,
issues,
yes.
longevity. Are we gonna make it?
Survivor, the warrior. But I think we need to have a little more passion under this moon, and Mars being all about, and Venus and Leo, my God, I mean, that's all about love and romance. And I pulled out the Lover's Tarot because I think we need to focus on love, loving ourselves, and being open to new relationships, new people, maybe people we wouldn't think or consider, but we've kind of done our pot patterns so many times, we're ready to try something else. And that might be kind of scary, so facing your fear, and it could all be right down to the bottom line of fear of intimacy. You know, what is true intimacy to you? What has kept you from having long-term relationships? It could be just that, the fear of letting your guard down, or, things kind of run their course, and then, you there's endings and beginnings. So that can be okay if that's what you want. But this is the kind of energy to kind of dial down Venus and Leo. What do you want out of a partner? A couple of dates, it's okay.
No, it's gonna have to be more than a few dates. It's gonna have to take like a year or so. Like I'm gonna find out.
It's interesting. And, this lady was showing me what she was doing online, and, she's had a couple of really disappointing dates. All of it's free. Well, there are services where you pay if you're really serious about finding a mate. There are legitimate professional services that will go through painstaking exercises to find compatible matches for you to go out with, but it costs money. And so
Mhm.
all of these free kinds of services, it does kind of
Yeah,
leave the element up for how serious is anybody about really finding anything other than, uh,
trash. No.
uh, I was trying to think of a nice way to say one night stand,
Uh-huh.
but
No, like, if I'm serious, I'm gonna pay top dollar to see, but I've tried paying for that top dollar service, and it was nothing. Like, there was, like, I don't know, slim pickings. There wasn't much, guys,
I love
so
that, Vanessa. I heard intimacy broken down to into me see. Love it. That's awesome. I had a friend in this area. It's a company called Elite. She paid $2,500, and um, went through this whole ordeal about what she was looking for, what would be good matches, and she went out with a couple of people, and the third guy that she went out with, they just really hit it off. They got married. They have a lovely relationship, but they were both serious. I mean, it's
Mhm.
serious to pay $2,500 to a dating agency.
Right, right. No, in Korea, they have, something very similar,
Yeah,
and, they give you a rating, like a letter, like,
yeah,
this is a A level, a B level, and a C. You get this A, B, and C. You don't get lower than D and F,
yeah.
and they check out, like, your work history, like, your parents, like, your blood type, your, just, like, your
Goals.
hobbies. Do
Mhm.
you have kids, stuff like that. Um, and yeah, it's a serious thing. I mean, I feel like nowadays you're gonna have to have something like that if, you know, um, you
If
want to
you're really
mate.
serious,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because it's a lot, and plus it saves you time.
Yeah,
Like looking takes a lot of time, and some people they don't have that kind of time to be looking around.
that's right. Time is precious. So Aries, our full moon, with a lot going on. It's the harvest moon too. So you reap what you sow. We really have all the answers within us if we're honest with ourselves. It's fun and it feels good to get readings and get other people's opinion, but we all know in our own intuition what we need or what we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Aries, High Priestess.
I don't know if you can see that. It's a self exploration.
Nice. So High Priestess is your instinct and uh, emotional or intuition, and with the moon there, it's certainly nurturing and connects to the mother. I
Mm-hmm.
just keep getting really strong vibes that this full moon is, self love, pampering yourself, not getting swept up in the um, compulsive nature of all of the chaos.
And also the high priestess, maybe Aries, it's time to really reflect on yourself rather than being so extroverted. This says, peel off the false persona and get to know yourself and find the truth, which is exactly what you're talking about. Like getting to know yourself. We all know what we know deep down inside.
Yeah,
We're,
sometimes it's hard to be honest with ourselves or process. It can be hard to face truths that we've created where what we're experiencing. We tend to want to blame others or, put it off on something else, but we ultimately are responsible. And this energy has a lot to do about taking ownership.
mm-hmm.
know, like I think we all know or have felt in ourselves. Um, we say we want a relationship or we want to meet someone, but our actions don't back that up. And
Yeah, I think that's me.
I think it's, again about commitment and intimacy and what do you really want? And the more specific, my old astrology teacher, I just thought of this. She would tell us, meditate and write a letter to your spirit guide, guardian angel about what you desire in a partner and
Mhm.
do as many details as you can. Take time with it. And if you've done this in the past, take that letter out and reread it because it may have changed what you want. And
Mhm.
you keep that letter in a special book, whatever that book might be for you,
Mm.
and let it go. Put it out there to the universe and go about your business and doing your thing. And this girl today that was telling me about her online dating, um, I'm a different generation. So the way people used to meet before the internet was through friends, letting
Mhm.
friends know, I'd really like to meet a companion, somebody to go to dinner with or do things, play tennis or golf, whatever. Um, it was always about the premise of getting to know someone that could be your friend. And because long lasting relationships need that connection, that you're friends with this person,
Mhm.
you have their back, that kind of thing, that it's not just a sexual romantic kind of connection. The other thing was to pursue your hobbies, pursue things that you're interested in so that you would meet people that are also doing that. And I had another friend who took up scuba diving, and she would go, they had these groups that would go to these, exotic islands and stuff to do scuba diving trips. She ultimately is seriously involved with someone, a man she met through that. And this girl kept like, or I said, "Well, take a photography class or, you know, take up something that gets you out and around people." And everything I said, um, she just shot down. Well, I don't want to take scuba diving, and I don't want to do, I don't want to. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? So that's what I mean about kind of analyzing. Do your actions match your desire? And
I
all
was
that
reading an article about how the Gen Z or just a younger generation is like dating. They actually get gym memberships to find people.
yeah,
And they said that it's starting to get really expensive because, they're having to like, pay for these memberships and they have to pay to be around people.
that's pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
guess that's
remember
better
back in
than
our day, we just go out because we didn't have internet
I
and
guess that's better than like trying to just have a relationship through something like this.
yeah, a freaking electronic device.
Yeah. There's and thank you, JK. I really appreciate you saying you like the stories, because sometimes I think I go down a rabbit hole with a story and I don't know what relevance it has, but somewhere in my mind it has relevance, and I appreciate that you like that. Um, yeah, uh, Jordan Peterson is a Canadian psychiatrist or relationship counselor.
Mhm.
And I found him on YouTube. I think some of his short videos are so profound with their wisdom. And, you know, he would be a good one to listen to some of his wisdoms about, um, you know, are you consistent with what you say you want and what you do?
Mhm.
Um, and then actually, what it takes to have a healthy, loving relationship. That's the other thing.
Mhm.
We all have in common the experience and knowledge that um, we know what unhealthy relationships are about. Would we know a healthy relationship if we had it? Shubaka, I'm glad you're out having fun at hockey, and glad you poked in here to say hey. I appreciate that very much. And
Yeah,
you
enjoy
know,
your game.
and the thing about the girl on online dating, and it's one of the life's paradoxes, because the law of attraction is about detachment, right? You put your genuine, heartfelt desire out to the universe and you detach and let it go. And if it was truly genuine, it will manifest.
Mhm.
And then there's a body of thought about, finding a mate is like finding a job. It's a job. You have to put effort into it. You have to, put yourself out there. So that's sort of an irony. And, um, I'm old fashioned and a hopeless romantic, being the Leo that I am. And I like to think that you meet who you're fated to meet. And the key is, do you meet the person in the right time and place where they're ready to, be emotionally available and want the same thing that you do? And,
Mhm.
I think it's important that you learn in life to be alone and to feel fulfilled without needing a partner. I think it takes that in order to have a healthy relationship, because the truth of the matter is none of us can complete another person.
Mhm.
And if you are in a marriage or a long-term relationship, likely someone's going to die before the other. I mean, I have known people that died in car crashes together, and there's that. But, having that basic foundation of you're okay the way you are. Um, uh, well, I love proof a store has my hats for sale, but oh, congratulations, Shubaka.
Yeah, congratulations on your success.
That's awesome.
That's why she's out drinking and at hockey.
Okay. Well, Taurus, I pulled the magician for you.
uh, and I actually have Awaken the Witch and the Sacral Chakra.
Oh, let's see. I know that we've got, let's see, we have Jupiter and Uranus still in Taurus, right? Yes. Jupiter, Uranus in Taurus. So that's changes in financial systems. Some interesting information about horticulture, anything connected to gardening and earthy matters. Taurus. It's ruled by Venus, so it could also be related to love and romance. Jupiter and Uranus is like suddenly meeting someone that expands your world. It could be suddenly meeting a foreign person or being either in a foreign country or having someone from a foreign country where you are. It's pretty lucky energy there on Jupiter, Uranus, and Taurus. So magician is all about, infinity and having all the tools you need to manifest that which you desire. I think the catch is that it's a genuine desire.
Yeah, and I also see here with the sacral chakra says it's out of balance. So, if you're really passionate, you have this magician, which I feel that you can, I guess, control whatever you would want to do. And also, if you've been lazy, Taurus, now's not the time to sit around and do nothing. Really, really bring out the potential. Like if you have like a project, if you have something that you've been wanting to work on, like a business plan or like a trip, now's a good time to go out and do it. You could like at that point um, really open up your sacral chakra, which is your passion. Okay. So yeah, this is a time to go out like what Shabaka is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
do it.
know, Taurus always makes me think of the Bacchus, the god of the vine,
Hmm.
frolicking and trying different wines and spirits, beverages.
Yeah, I would say do that. Yeah, so that's actually really good, Taurus. Like, and I really feel like these are for those Tauruses who have been like, staying at home and, you know, watching TV, eating chips. Yeah,
Yeah.
just saying. Um, actually, that's what came in my mind, but
Oh,
it'll be
destiny
all right.
and fate are two different things. You want destiny, not fate. You'll regret fate until kingdom comes. You choose when the timing is right. Fate is fate. Choice. Well, and that in astrology boils down to free will. I mean, you can have all the potential in the world in a chart, but you also have the free will to make those decisions. And, one of my favorite musicians, and I still miss him to this day, is George Michael. As he aged, he wrote some of the most moving romantic music. And he did a song called A Different Corner. And it's a song, he wrote a lot about his own life experiences. And it was a song about when he met one of the loves of his life. And basically, you can turn a different corner and your whole life can take a different direction. It's just about what is that inkling that prompts us to cancel a trip, go on a trip, go a different route. Um, and that's another way to change up being stagnant is just something as simple as take a different route. Someplace you go all the time, just take a different route. I remember trying that a long time ago. It's the way I found my first house I bought. I was going to work and every day I went the same way. And I had read that and I just started taking a different route and came across this little house for sale one time. And it was real tiny. It was a little matchbox place that, I was like, well, that's awful tiny. I might be able to afford that. And I was there for like 3 years.
Aw, yeah. I know, right? It's like that's a lot to read.
Yes, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. I love the interaction, and I love the power and the wisdom that comes through with our lives here.
Mhm,
Gemini,
mhm.
I have temperance.
Okay, and I have exercise.
Oh, Gemini. So you might, I
Go
don't
to
know.
the gym, get that gym
Yeah,
membership.
go to two gyms.
Look, do some squats.
um, hey, Gemini isn't the most patient type of energy, and temperance makes me think of patience.
Yeah, maybe if you really want to get fit, you gotta do it on a daily basis. Stick to a routine.
It's certainly about balance. That your exercise person there looks. I mean, that takes a lot of balance to squat like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this energy is always temperance is always about being in flow. And um, you know, I would say the full moon for Gemini would really be inspirational. It's an air sign being fed by the fire, so that's inspired to be creative, to communicate. Okay, JK likes my stories. I got a story for you. I melted down with my boss on the phone yesterday. I let it rip. I said exactly what I think, and I didn't say to him I wasn't going to be a pushover anymore, but I was feeling this energy of passive aggressive and nobody wanting to make a decision. And I work in one town and my home office is a couple hours away, so I basically work remotely. But there are times when I need to go to what I call the mothership, right, the home office. And the way things have been going this week, I needed to get there. I needed to go handle some things. And my boss was being really just like silent. He just wasn't making a decision. He wasn't answering my emails. So I left him a message and said, hey, I really need you to call me. It was kind of late yesterday. I needed to make a decision about today if I was going to make a trip to the mothership, which I did. It's kind of why we were running a little late. Apologize. And So, yeah, when he called me back, I was like, you know what? I get that we are in like some kind of new world business arena and nobody wants to spend any money. It's all about quicker, better, cheaper. But, there's a value to providing service to a client who's paying you money for something.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it boiled down to me was I couldn't best serve the client in this situation. Um, they were hurt and they needed a notary, and um, I was like, yeah, I'll drive a couple hours to go to someone who's hurt that needs something done like that. It's the end of the month. They needed to get it done within this month. No brainer. They're paying this guy $500 an hour. I think they deserve a service. But everybody's so dialed into I say everybody in my field, it's all about the almighty dollar, the almighty profit, bottom line, where can you cut corners? And I told him, I said, you know what? My experience, I come from a real old fashioned kind of style where, you know, it's about the client and it's about doing what you have to do to make the client's life better. It's not
Mhm.
about cutting corners so you put more money in your pocket. I didn't say that to him. But my point is,
Right.
I had a meltdown, and where I've been real easygoing and easy to get along with, and I kind of let them, do whatever. And if it doesn't get done the way I personally think it should be done, oh well, I'm collecting a paycheck. I show up and I do my work and I leave. But for some reason, this energy got me really provoked. And
Mhm.
what was really provoking me was not getting an answer. And so I couldn't believe I could hear myself saying this, but I was like, do you have a problem with me coming out there tomorrow? It just came out. And when it came out, there was this other part of me
That's
going,
why you couldn't say nothing. It was like, what?
who is this person? And
What happened to the sweet lady that I
right,
know?
she just checked out because she's had it. And he backed right on there. He goes, that would be fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. So I go today, and I had several balls in the air between several people, several missions. I was in an area I'm not that familiar with. I rely on the MapQuest or whatever the navigational thing. And I had to get to somebody's house and back, and the construction and the traffic. And I did feel like a warrior today. I felt like I was, assertive, taking matters,
Understand.
being out there in a uncomfortable place. Sure, it'd been a lot easier to sit in my office, here and let them deal with it. Send a courier. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
And but yeah, I think it taught me something about asking for what you need, right? Um, not not accepting less than, or not letting someone make you feel less than. And we'll see how the next few weeks go with him, because he's been somewhat of a passive aggressive kind of boss.
Well, I think that this was like a one-off situation, like, it will happen again. It'll take a couple of more tries before he gets it dialed down.
So yesterday, when it was coming up that there was this issue I didn't know about, and I really just needed to go and be the one to take care of it, I paced up and down the hall, and I
Mhm.
was getting myself in a snit because I don't like being put in that position to confront somebody, and it's like, this really got me going. And then it was really uncomfortable talking. He intimidates me. And I think he does that purposely, and it works. But I'm a Leo. Aries is fire. So I've got that Aries full moon fire feeding my sun, and, all kinds of planets I have in Leo. And man, that's what it manifested, was going out of my comfort zone to assert myself with someone that I I needed to be the boss. I needed to be assertive. And my boss is close to retirement age, and I think sometimes his mentality is he just wants to be retired, but there's work to do. So it's either retire, or put your heart and interest in your work.
Well,
You can't
he wants to go down the nun route, right? Keep yourself, like, learning, yeah, learning and
right,
stuff,
right, right.
or it's all gonna go down the downhill once he stops.
Yeah, he
So,
travels a lot. He takes some pretty intense international trips, and I think that's what they want to do. And you know, I guess it's hard to let go when I think he has like 43 years in this place. So it's like, I can see where that's hard to let go. It's hard to know when you let go, then what, and, so there you go. There's my story about the full moon and taking care of business. And I tell you what I ultimately, want to manifest about it is that I shouldn't have to ask whether it's okay to come to the mothership. I should at
Mhm.
will be able to, make that determination and do what I need to do. But they're so chintzy about paying mileage or paying expenses to travel. And I told him, I said, I don't even care if you pay me mileage. I need to take care of this.
Mhm.
And I think that made him feel bad that I was insinuating that they're chintzy, but
No, you should.
it's all about efficiency. Well, what, if you pay money to send someone that doesn't do it right, and then you end up having to do it over, I mean, really, what's efficient about that?
Right.
They've been
Well,
using some carrier that's supposed to be a notary, but when they get the papers back, it's never completed. Like something's always missing. So then they have to um, reinvent the wheel. So
well, now they have like these online notaries.
I am one. Yes, I am an electronic.
I'm just saying.
That's a little different thing. And this was a guy recuperating with his hip. He, wasn't online, and
Mhm.
he needed some TLC. And that's been missing a lot in corporate America, is that customized uh, care and service to somebody paying for you to do something for them. And I get so irritated about gimme, 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 and it's just changed over the years. And
No, I get it. Everything's all automated and stuff, and
yeah.
I saw that, with this lady over here at the office, and she was like, "Oh, you know how to do all that online stuff?" And I was like, "Yes, it's my generation." And she was an older woman who needed to have a face-to-face conversation and, like, have things printed out and, kind of like being, talked to, and so, you know it is, it really is, it really depends on, I guess, the generational aspect, Nowadays, the younger generation, they wouldn't think anything about it, but for an older generation, that's what they live by. That's what they're used to.
What I miss is the contact. I mean,
Mhm.
back in the day, you built a rapport with human beings that you were helping. And now it's all email, phone calls. You don't have that energetic exchange or contact. And this guy had his brother with him. I navigated, I got there, sat at a, dining room table with a dog, checking me out. And it's like, that is my element. It's like, I'm here to show you someone cares and is going to take the time to do something, no matter how it was very much out of my comfort zone. I was totally in a different town, didn't know where I was going. And it all worked out, but it was like, it was more important that that person felt like someone gave a damn and was willing to go out of the routine and not postpone it. That was the thing. It was going to create a whole nother ripple effect for this to go into another month. And so when I got back to the mothership, and I was like, I just really miss that contact with whoever, the people contact. And I don't think the younger generation misses that. They haven't had it, so they don't know it's any different. And I think, if anything, all of the that thing I sent you yesterday talked about a study with the youth and their eyes, getting something going on with their eyes with all the digital exposure.
Oh,
Did
I
you see
didn't see,
that
no, I
article?
didn't get that.
It's a study about, limiting exposure to young people in their eyes, because all of this digital exposure is, I don't know if not aligning is the right word, but it's affecting their eyes.
Mm. Well, I know that, that's how we all wear glasses these days.
I I think another part of what came out of the last 48 hours over this was standing your ground. You know, if that's important to me, then that's
Mhm.
what I represent. Even though everybody around me mostly is a younger generation, and that doesn't mean anything. No one would volunteer to go meet this guy. You know, there are plenty of notaries where they are, and everybody was like hiding, like, oh, I don't want to go do that. You know, I'm a couple hours away. I was like, I'll be there. just find the directions, get me there. And so maybe that's what we all have our role, you know, wherever you're working or whatever you're doing, you know, maybe this energy is about defining what's your unique perspective, or, you know, what is it that you can offer to um, other people with different ideas. You know, it's very collaborative, I guess. And I think where, you know, I'm not all that, I do love my work, but there's certainly plenty of days I'm not inspired to do it. But I do like helping people with their home, getting their homes and doing what they need. But it does sometimes just seem like a automated sort of rat race. So to do something different, and you know, some of the younger people there that they couldn't believe I drove all that way to just go meet this guy to notarize documents. And and to me, and I said to him, I was like, but of course you would do that. That was someone who's paying good money for a service. You know, why wouldn't you try to find a way to work it out for them? And a lot of people look for ways to avoid getting something worked out, you know,
Especially on a Friday.
at the end of the month.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was raining.
Oh, was it raining over there?
You know, all of the elements lined up to be, I don't really want to do this. It would have been easy to say, you know, but I don't know. That's what the full moon energy has done for me, in terms of it really fed my already kind of fiery nature to, you know, go out there and
Well,
get
I
something
think
done.
that personally that you have like this innate ability to be like a service person to help,
Yes,
especially people who are in need. It's always been that way, and you've always been surrounded by people who always need your help, and so you feel compelled to be that person to do
I,
it.
you're right.
Especially if there's no one else like who wants to do those things. And you're like, you're so used to doing it. I mean, why not? And I really feel that once you get to that age, that you would actually um, be around people who would do the same for you. And I
Well,
think that's
we
where
can
the karma.
only because I don't have long-term care insurance.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
like, your good deeds, your good karma of what you're doing to people now will
I
come
hope so.
back to you in the future when you need it the
I
most.
will claim that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you heard it
Awesome.
first right here.
I heard that. So I have a lot of Cancer, you know, Moon and Venus, but my Mars is in Virgo, so that's all about service, nurture. So you're very intuitive, calling all of that. You're exactly
Mhm,
right.
mhm. Yeah,
And then with a Leo, I can be a little bossy.
yeah. I mean, you got all those elements in there.
It's
I see
funny,
it.
funny, 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 and I don't even remember what triggered that whole. Um,
Well, it was because JK was talking about she loves your stories, and well, you had a story for her, and then you were going on about like your little debate with the boss man over there.
oh yeah, setting
And
my
then it rolled
boundaries.
into the whole notary situation.
Yeah, getting it done. You know, and oh my God, the traffic over there is so horrendous. And when I was coming home, you know, I was just sort of reflecting on the whole experience over the last couple of days. And just feeling very satisfied, like that. I know I made a difference in those two brothers' lives. This was property that's been messed up with a lot of different problems, and it's been hanging over them, a long
Did
time.
you hear about that? About Katy Perry bought like this real estate, and she was trying to buy a house from the guy who owns 1-800 Flowers,
No.
and that guy is like, at the time he was cohesive. He had a legal attorney, set up the whole deal, and then a little bit later. He claims that he wasn't of sound mind. He changed his
Oh,
mind,
interesting.
and maybe he was going through dementia, or I don't know what kind of legal thing that they were trying to pull. But Katy Perry was like, "Oh hell nah," like this is
Interesting.
yeah. So she's having like a real estate debate,
I
and
need to look that up. That sounds interesting.
yeah, but that wasn't the first time. This is like, there was another issue with a bunch of nuns actually,
Oh,
um, who owned like some property, and then they were like, "Oh no, that's not right." Or then one of the nuns like actually passed out and died in court. I
no.
don't know how true that story was. I read that article today, and I was like, "Dang, Katy Perry don't play," like when it comes to real estate. And then she was suing that guy, the 1-800 Flowers guy, like I don't know, a million point whatever some dollars, because she could have rented the property out during the time that they were going back and forth with the whole court situation. So she wanted that, and that plus legal fees. And I'm like, dang. And I saw the house. It's a cute home. I imagine like, these really super rich people who has money to have like these luxury homes that look like a resort.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, well, it does look like a nice house, like, but yeah, but she has several properties, so that must be the thing, like getting into like real estate. But with your thing about those two guys, about having that property that's being sentimental towards them, and how they needed somebody
Hmm.
to, deal with,
Family. Yeah.
yeah,
Brought
the
in that
legal
family.
aspect.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Element.
So, but you're a part of the process of closing out the deal, which is a
Yes.
part of what this moon energy is all about.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you did your
Doing the
job.
moon. I'm doing
Yeah,
the moon. I'm not mooning. I'm doing the moon.
yeah, you did it. You did it. Anyways, yeah, so we're on Cancer,
Right.
right?
Well, for Cancer, I got the world.
And I have essential oils.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
It's,
Essential oils can help boost your mood and promote positive energy. Oh.
well, and the world is all about the egg and completion and cycles, all the elements of the universe at your disposal. So this is a completion card, just like a full moon would be a completion for Cancer.
So what a way to like wrap things up with
And
your.
maybe it's the end of some kind of illness with the essential oils coming up. Maybe it's the completion of an allergy, or something that's been plaguing them from a health standpoint.
Maybe this is about travel. And they had to like help change their mood about something.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it feels very positive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, if you've been in a funk, you should actually feel better with aromatherapy here.
Yeah, yeah, and know that the funk is complete. Like there's a shift with this moon for Cancer.
So maybe this weekend you can just go out to like your favorite, um, I guess, store that sells like essential oils and stuff,
Yeah,
and pick you out some good scents, and
yeah,
put in your house.
yeah. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good to me too. I need some new incense. I got one stick left. Uh, okay. So next we have Leo.
Wonder what Leo will say.
Well, I see
Oh,
here third
well,
eye chakra. Oh, justice.
justice.
Have fun again.
Oh, tell your boss off.
Yeah. Well, third eye. This is about like your inner self. Maybe you need to tell yourself to have fun. You know. I don't know. I feel a little like standoffish energy also with the justice card. Like you deserve it. You need to have some fun. You see this.
Some balance.
And
Like
try to find that happy medium.
all work and no play makes Jane not fun.
Is that how the story goes?
I don't know. I kind of botched that, but
But do you see how like your justice card matches like your lamp thing behind you or that
oh, the scale.
the
Yes.
scales? Yeah, it looks very similar there. You're just missing a sword.
Well, I do feel, I mean, I am a heavy Leo. I do feel a sense of some kind of balance by what did transpire in the last day or so.
Well,
Like,
you should be feeling good now
yeah,
rather than what you did feel a couple days ago.
yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of different feelings, for sure, But
Mhm.
basically, this feeling of, doing something right. I'm in the legal field, so that brings up the scales of justice. So, again, the fire signs under an Aries um, full moon, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. That it's very energetic. It
Mhm.
needs a lot of vibration to your own fire. So it would be trines 120 degrees apart. So that's considered Lady Luck. And I can tell you, Lady Luck was with me doing all the navigating in a strange land for me today. I only
Right.
exit once. Out of all the exits I had to deal with today, I only botched one, and I just had to like go in a circle and figure
Uh-huh.
it out. But anyway, makes Jack a dull boy. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's how it goes.
I love that dancing. Oh, I need to do that.
Yeah, and then you could just turn on the music. I do it and I dance in front of Luna all the time.
You
And
do.
I do it because she stares at me.
You want to hear something cool? This
What?
dog where I went was named Luna.
Aw.
I know. They said her name's Luna. I said, I'm a friend with a Luna.
Uh-huh.
That's funny, isn't it? A lot of
Yeah.
synchronicities, I guess.
I know, and we're under this big moon energy. So,
Yes.
wow.
My next mission for the weekend would be to declutter a closet.
I need a dust.
I
I
need,
have like a whole like I want to say an inch of dust on some certain furniture items. And I'm like, whoa, I moved something off and there's like stuff. Like, oh, it's time.
herds of dust bunnies.
Yeah, I need to bring out the rags.
Well, this will be a good weekend to do that.
Oh, I planned on it.
Look, Virgo has the Lover's card.
Oh, Virgo.
Virgo, you got it going on.
Mm-hmm. And oh, well, look at this. This is interesting. It says, let go and move on.
Hmm.
Don't allow the past prevent you from moving forward. So this might be about ending old relationships and moving on to something new.
So, one interpretation of the lovers is it's all about third parties, the Cupid representing a third party. So, maybe for any twin flamers, it's, the whole three's a crowd pattern is passe. It's time to move on.
Your picture looks really interesting. Can you hold it up a little bit closer? And
Which,
I'm looking at the private parts. Can you tell me what in the world is going on there? It looks like a leaf.
yeah, it's leaves covering the private parts.
But what about the man? Is that the actual thing? Or
It's a leaf covering the thing.
okay, because he looks like he's uncircumcised.
Oh my God. I think you're looking at like the leaf.
I mean, doesn't it?
Okay.
Like, guys, come on. Doesn't it look like he's uncircumcised? Like it's like hiding in there. I mean, I'm not laughing at the ones who haven't, but I've seen them. Just saying, it looks like it.
I'll never see this card the same way again.
Well, I mean, they're having a I don't know. Look at the look on his face, though.
This card in this deck represents sacred marriage.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's why he is uncircumcised, right?
I don't know. I don't even know how to begin to address circumcised or not circumcised in it. I don't know.
I think that's a part of the whole religious thing for some, like Jewish people. Like, don't they just leave it on there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could say it's brutally horrendous to put a baby through getting circumcised. So
Mm-hmm.
one time I had a litter of puppies, and the little dew claw, if you don't take it out like in the first day or two, it's real painful to the puppies. But as they grow, that dew claw can snag and cause a lot of problems. And that's what I think of when I think of the baby being circumcised, is having a toenail pulled out.
Well, I don't think they know. Yeah,
Like,
they're crying anyway.
yip, and then they forget about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. So we have a lot going on in Libra with the South Node and Mars.
Because we're in Libra season now, right?
Yes.
All right, Libra. What we got here?
I have the Chariot.
Okay. Time to move forward.
Yeah. Make some decisions. Libra has a hard time making decisions.
And they have a hard time of speaking about it, too. It's
Yeah.
out of balance. Your chakras.
These horses look like they're all trying to go in opposite directions. And Libra is famous for procrastinating and trying to take so long to weigh all the facts. They never decide anything. So I guess to a certain degree, Libras might be feeling a little in limbo.
Yeah, so it's time to really, if you want to move forward, you got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll help you to kind of get things going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's easy.
Ooh, now we have Scorpio, the penetrating, dark.
Just whatever.
No more lies. My phone has been acting up too. It's been driving me crazy. I'm telling you, I bought a new one. It fritzed out on me, and I turned it in, and they sent me a replacement. It just has been the most annoying thing lately with cell phones.
Well, you got that during the retrograde too, didn't you?
No, it was before the retrograde, but it went on the fritz during retrograde.
Let's see, Scorpio, what is going on?
That's what mine was doing. It was freezing.
Mine says, wake up early. Aim to wake up earlier in the morning to chase your dreams.
This
Look at
is
that death.
so this is the Scorpio card in this deck.
Uh-huh. Well, if you want to change for once, you got to wake up early. And you know what? I was like, yes, this is the weekend. I get to sleep in. Cuz
Yeah.
I've been waking up early and I feel like death. I ain't
Yeah.
lying. Like they got it backwards. And that coffee ain't doing nothing.
I was just telling a girl today about the death card in tarot because she was talking about these skeletons that she got for Halloween that she sits at her table, and she had like a dog skeleton and she loves decorating for Halloween. And it's like, but in tarot, the death card has a skeleton, and this is supposed to be about, getting down to the bone of the matter, getting authentic. The skull represents all knowing, all knowledge. So, this is a very no crap kind of energy. And
Well, they're serious. Scorpio, y'all need to wake up early
yeah,
if you
get it
want to get it
done.
done.
This is, one of those rebirth cycles.
I want, you know what? I don't want
What
to
do you
chase
think
my
it
dream.
is with the horse stepping on the baby and the maidens here? See, her hand is on his hoof,
Mm-hmm.
trying to resist the change. Like, don't
Yeah,
move
I
forward.
think there's some opposition, like in order to go forward, you have to, I feel like, detach from the attachments of things that are um either pure in nature. They could have good intentions, but this is something you have to go through, and it's like I want to say tough love, you
Yeah.
know. It's difficult, but it's something I just feel like you have to do it. I don't know how to put it. That's how I interpreted it. And it can go in cycles. You can have a thing like when you were young or dealing with young people. You can have it when, you're like a teenager. You can have it as an adult, even an old person. You could be a religious figure, government, doesn't matter. I think death covers it, kind of like that Grim Reaper.
So also, the nature of Scorpio is the reminder notice that the life, death, life cycle in all things. So just like a full moon, like don't distress or dismay because something's over, because at the end of every ending is the beginning of a new beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well put. So, about that waking up.
Sagittarius, another fire sign,
Mm-hmm.
at the
Oh,
wheel of fortune.
hey, look, I got make new friends. Get out there and make new
Oh,
friends. Don't
Sag.
hide in the shadows.
Yeah, this
Well,
is
this
your
is,
time to shine.
yeah, this is fated, destined.
Sag is all about freedom. They just want to be free.
Mm-hmm. And look, they're covering their faces with the sunflower.
So maybe looking up at the sun for
Make new
spiritual.
friends. I guess if they're shy, don't be shy. Make new friends. They'll make you happy. Um,
Well, and the wheel of fortune is more of that confirmation of, cycles, and what goes around comes around.
mm-hmm. Or maybe it's a new cycle to make like a new set of friends.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know why I just thought of bowling, but
I think we had that conversation last time, didn't we? Like bumper
knock
bowling.
the pins are the old friends and knocking them down and setting up new friends. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what comes in my mind and why.
Well, I know it's getting late too over there. So next we have Capricorn.
JK says, past, present, future. Many of the things I love in this lifetime, I still love just differently. Well said.
Oh, well, I like this one. Get a
A
massage.
massage. I got the star.
Oh, yes. So maybe I should book a massage appointment.
Absolutely.
Make your appointment this week. Yes,
Yes.
I will do it.
Get some pampering. You work
Yes.
hard.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's a great. I was thinking about my massage therapist because I used to go and see him once a week. That was like a thing.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing it for a while, and he's a really funny guy too. It's like I can't like go in there and just lay
Right.
there. Like he'll always like he's very talkative, and I mean, but he's fun. He's a Capricorn too. So go figure. I like it.
The
Get him.
star is about wish fulfillment, right? Wish upon
Yeah.
a star.
Yeah, I mean, like getting a massage for me as a Capricorn is like butter on bread. I
Heaven.
will take a massage. Like that is like my language. Massage. Yeah, I'll take it.
Nice.
Mhm. And next we have Aquarius, which is
Really good energy for Capricorn. That might be my favorite one so far. The star and a massage.
mhm. Hello.
Oh, look, JK's Capricorn has already booked her massage appointment. So you're on
Oh,
the
okay.
same
She
wavelength.
yeah, well she's ahead of me.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't get mine done.
So we have Aquarius. I got the Hanged Man.
Oh, I have the throat chakra.
So what are they trying to say?
They need a they need a timeout. They need to look at things from a different level, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this card was also poking out. It says forgiveness is for you. Forgive others and yourself because your soul deserves peace. So
Yeah.
maybe you've been hanging on to like an idea, and maybe you need to look at things differently and then talk to that person. I feel like it's like communication
Yeah.
to either forgive or be forgiven. So it could go both ways. Yeah.
And the hangman to me also represents faith, exploring what is it that makes you get up every morning and have faith that, you'll get through the day or.
Well, I think Aquarius would be like, no. Uh yeah, there's no chance, but I'll think about it. Cuz I think that for Aquarius like once their what is it loyalty has been like
Oh, yeah. They very hurt.
yeah,
Very
they get really like either closed off, super
cold.
emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ruled by Uranus, which the atmosphere on Uranus is either hot or cold, and strong Uranian energy runs hot and cold. They can
Mhm.
detach very easily, unconventional, but it is about metaphysics. It's all
Mhm.
about the metaphysical arts. It rules astrology.
Well, Aquarius I guess it's something to think about around this moon energy.
So, Shubaka, I guess you're talking about a guy being an Aquarius. Um, so, my anus rules my world lately. Um, Aquarian people, I'm not going to designate like a gender, but Aquarian people are really hard to get close to because they give off that vibe that, they're detached. But what that is they're deeply sensitive. They're deeply, um,
I would say they are very attached, but they detach very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have a friend who I've met since childhood, like 3 years old, and we are like forever friends, but we don't talk to each other. But when we do, we pick up really quickly, but then we detach
Right.
for a later time, and we're cool like that, you know? So, um,
So,
that
Riley, when she says, what is it right now, hot or cold? That would just depend on where's Aquarius in the chart, what up in the heavens is aspecting it right now. So it's not going to be all hot and all cold for all Aquariuses at the same time. It's very uniquely customized, just like a fingerprint.
mhm. So for Pisces, I have a very similar energy. I have the solar chakra, and forgiveness is for you.
I got the Hermit. We were just talking about Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, and that's a really deep energy. So here we have the Hermit that's like introspection and
Maybe Pisces, you don't feel motivated.
I just want some time alone.
Yeah, maybe you're being extra hard on yourself. I don't know. This is a tricky energy here.
Well, Uranus and Saturn in Pisces is pretty challenging.
Yeah, it's really hard to put my finger on this because it's like whatever that you normally feel compelled to do, you maybe you're thinking about it, you don't know if you're right or wrong, is the feeling I'm getting.
So I associate the Hermit with Saturn, Father Time, and the teacher. So maybe one of the lessons is forgiveness. Maybe this is about, reflecting on um, what does forgiveness mean to you? Who do you have to forgive? Forgive yourself. So Pisces, I think, is probably in some sort of meditative cycle, because the solar plexus is a pretty significant center.
Mhm.
And that forgiveness card coming up, and the teacher here, I would say this energy has something to do with teaching Pisces about forgiveness.
Yeah, because I know Pisces can get all uh,
Maudlin.
yeah.
So, forgiveness is not the thing that I think is hard to learn about forgiveness is you can forgive that person, but it doesn't mean they accept your forgiveness. So
Mhm.
you're forgiving for your own well-being, and whether or not someone responds to that forgiveness, um, that's neither here nor there. That's outside of you. Saturn in Pisces right now is all about healing, spiritual healing, yeah, forgiveness of self and others. Um, no more lies. Thank you for joining us. Look for
Mhm.
your mail.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you on. Haven't seen you in a hot minute.
So
So,
it's a really pretty deep energy we're in, isn't it?
there's a lot to really kind of take in. So,
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, um, our Libra solar eclipse is October 14th. So, that's new moon solar eclipse. And in Libra, that brings in a very social element ruled by Venus. So you may, uh, eclipses trigger energy. So anything that's, needing a push along the way, it's kind of like the Tower card, where if the universe has wanted you moving in a direction and you've been stalling or avoiding something, an eclipse will release the energy or trigger the energy for it to keep cycling out. And so I think we're going to see more and more transparency with court cases. Libra is very associated to the justice system. And there's just been a ton of, Supreme Court opinions that have been out there published, and indictments and all kinds of legal wranglings going on. So maybe by the middle of October, we'll actually have some like answer or resolution to some of these pending cases, or, on a personal level for individuals who are involved in some kind of legal proceeding, maybe something resolves with the eclipse. Eclipses are interesting, they're ancient times, eclipses is what triggered a tribe to move to another region, triggered when people would sign a peace treaty. Libra is all about peaceful resolution. So I'm trying to think here, where we've got a series of eclipses. Taurus lunar eclipse, October 28th. I think we have 3. No, just the 2. So we have the Libra solar eclipse, October 14th, and a Taurus lunar eclipse, October 28th. So October has 2 eclipses, Libra and Taurus, air and earth. So that's really getting grounded. Libra can be very hard to grasp, hard to get a hold of things. And Taurus is very grounded. So I wonder if in the month of October, we'll see like resolution of some court cases or legal matters that are somewhat flared up. But then by the end of the month, the dust settles, that kind of energy where it kind of get whoop and then chill.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a very good month to be honest. It sounds like, there might be some trigger moments, or, things that might get brought up, or think, something like that. And then by the end of the month, then it does kind of go down, which is kind of a relief, especially for me being an earth sign, because I sure as hell don't want stuff up in the air like that makes me feel unsettled, on a personal level.
So before we meet again, I will research the periods of time from the past that would be similar to that eclipse, and that will usually be familiar. Whatever happened when that eclipse was at that degree brings back to our life some similar pattern.
Okay, so we might have a repeat
Right,
situation from either a past life or even a previous period
right,
in this life. And it
right.
might be a lesson, like let's say, karmic lesson.
Well, and Libra is very social, so it could be, planning more social activities as we get into, holiday season. Um, I feel like people are more crazy about Halloween than anything else anymore. Um, so the lady I was talking to about the death card and the skeletons, she has a grandchild that they share custody, and she was telling me, I can't exactly remember, like they get her for Thanksgiving but not for Halloween or Christmas, so she's decorating her house for all 3 holidays. So when the grandchild comes spend the week, in October or November. I can't remember which, but she's going to have, that's what she was talking about. I'm going to have skeletons sitting at the dining room table, and I'm going to have Thanksgiving, themes, and then the Christmas tree. She's going to try to pack all three into that one um, week, so that while they have her, they're going to celebrate everything.
I was about to say what through your anus? Shabbat.
It's Uranus. Uranus.
um so yeah, so that's really interesting. I personally couldn't do all three in one.
Yeah.
That's just over.
Yeah. I think it's a young child. I want to say like 8, somewhere in the age 8 range.
Okay, so they're the kid.
Kid, right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're the grandparents. So it's been that battle of grandparents' rights.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's all good. We'll figure it out.
I know. That's just too much. I can't even think that.
You don't have to.
I know. Thank
So
goodness.
what I left my elderly neighbor thought of, because he was just getting so far ahead of himself, was we live each day and we get as much joy out of that day as we can.
Mm, I
And
like that.
that's all we can do.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, he was going into, if I get the chair installed and I die in a few months, then who buys the house has to get the chair uninstalled. I mean, this is where his head was going. He's a Virgo. And I was like, whoa, slow down. If that chair is going to give you peace and safety for one day, it's worth it. And it doesn't matter what somebody needs down the road, they'll get it uninstalled. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of needling of the mind that Virgo is famous for.
Right. No, I get it. But yeah. So does anybody have questions for Sunny? Speak now or forever hold your pace.
Well, you can always write to me at lionmountainhealing@gmail.com, or check out the articles on Lion Mountain Healing. What did I say? Yeah. lionmountainhealing@gmail.com is the email.
Mm-hmm.
lionmountainhealing.com is the website.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also you're also your Etsy thing. And let's see here.
Yes. And
There we
I
go.
had a little more activity lately. Let's see. I'm trying to read this. I have
Etsy.com/shop/Lion Mountain Relics. Yeah.
All right, there's some things here going a little fast. So let me see.
Okay. Oh, I can't control the speed.
I have the eclipse happening in 5th to 11th house Aquarius, Leo, which is also my north and south node. So much faded in my life right now yeah, absolutely. That's true love. 5th to 11th Aquarius to Leo. That's a deep love. Faded. For this makes sense. Let's see if I can ask a question. Would Luca or JK be it? I'm going to have to, what's that saying? I'm going to have to defer my contemplation on that.
I mean, I guess that would be a me question, right? Shabaka, since I'm the intuitive over here.
I don't really understand. Would Luca or JK be it?
Yeah, remember she had two people's, situation. So there's Luca and JK. Pull cards, yeah. Wheel of Fortune, yeah, but for which one? Is it Luca or JK?
Why does it have to be just one?
Well, both of them are it. So is Shabaka lucky enough to have a two for one deal?
Can I have anything you desire?
She said exactly. Oh man. You know what? I got the same thing.
Huh.
It's both. A real BF.
Hmm.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what that is anymore.
Uh
A
I would
real
say, okay, let me just say this. I feel that if it were between the two, it would be JK. Whoever JK is for you. There's definitely something there. Now, the other person is a charmer. Like he may be charming, but that doesn't mean like uh long term.
right.
And that's who what's his name? Luca is. But this is
Says all the
JK.
right things. And
JK is more of a really good friend that possibly it's a fresh new beginning and the rest is to be determined. Like,
loyal. I think of the fool as loyal.
mhm. Yeah,
Interesting.
really positive. Both of them are good.
Yeah.
Also, Aries, Libra, North Node, South Node is positives in those same houses. Okay, well, good for you, honey. Oh, positioned. Okay.
So the Aries full moon is conjunct that axis right now, which is what triggers memories from the past, patterns from the past. Uh, that's where we want to try to stretch into new things that make us a little uncomfortable. Um,
Well, you're going through the same thing too, almost,
mm,
right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. So much fate. Yeah, she feels that fate too.
but it
And
doesn't
choice.
make any sense. That's the thing. It doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense at all.
Well,
So,
she chose choice.
yeah, it
Mhm.
might be just one of those patterns coming up to contemplate and not repeat.
Mhm. Mhm. I really feel like it's a test about like
Yes.
your true self.
Yes.
So, like, are you gonna get tempted by,
No,
the outward appearance things, like,
I've
the
gone this long without not being tempted. I think I'm okay.
but sometimes the pheromones might be a little too hard.
I know it's terrible. So we have what did I say? October 14th.
Mhm.
What is that fall on?
I think that's a Friday. You know what? Actually, you know what? My coworker mentioned that he is coming up to Tacoma
Oh,
to visit.
on the 14th.
I think so. I that just kind of triggered a memory. Let's see. Where's it?
So the 14th is on a Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
Hey,
Okay.
you want to meet on Friday the 13th? That feels auspicious.
Do 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 do. In October too. Oh
Yeah,
Jesus.
I think we should. 13's my lucky number. I love Friday the 13th.
Okay, well, let's do it.
We're going to do that.
Friday 13th. I'm gonna have my mask on. My face mask. Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Mm.
Yeah,
This explains everything.
yeah. It's been interesting. Sounds good, ladies and
Hmm.
gentlemen. And
Yeah.
we'll certainly have our blog up before then. And certainly the feelings we're having now will only be magnified by an eclipse. I think to a certain degree, it's a little bit of an energy of fighting our dragons, right? Fighting our fears. And
That's where you go and get a massage.
yes, I think that's a great idea. I bought some of those eye patches like you sent me.
I'm doing that tonight. The eye patch and the face mask.
Yeah, some pampering. I think we need some pampering.
Hmm. And I bought me a pumice thing for my foot.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so I could put it in my bath. And I have eucalyptus hanging from my shower. So I have like the
Nice.
whole like aroma.
Yeah, you got it going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my spiritual shower tonight.
That sounds like a great plan.
Hmm.
Thank you, JK. I'm glad you put us on your calendar. We sure appreciate the your energy and your input. Like all of you are just very meaningful. We really appreciate your participating in these little chats.
Especially since I don't do like go on and do readings like on a daily basis. It's just once a week. So it's really just you and I. We're kind of like 1 to 1 almost. Well, actually 2 to 1. Yeah, I'm creating 2 videos. You're creating like one. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're matching our energies over here.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. So thank you all for sticking around.
Yeah, and be hopeful and just take that dragon by the harness and ride, Captain Ride. Remember that song? What was that? Who did that? Ride, Captain Ride.
I don't know.
Ride, Captain Ride. Moody Blues.
I would have to like go back to my archives to kind of see what that is.
I'm gonna do it here right now. It's got me.
Because that takes me back to my billiards days when I used to go to these bars and go to the jukebox and play these songs, whatever's in there.
Blues Image.
Okay.
Uh, yes, yeah. This is yeah. This was when was this song? 1970.
Yeah, that was still before my time.
So I'm gonna have to do some research on our eclipses coming up in October and figure out those prior points, and that'll give us some time frames to be comparing. What we're going through to what
That would
we've
be
been through.
really, yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'll get on that.
Okay, you got some homework to do.
Yes, I'll do it.
Ride mystery ride.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
interesting.
Well,
Well, it's been a long week, guys. Into a mystery ship. That's right. And I think we're all doing great, and we'll only get better. We'll just again ride the waves.
until 2024, right? I keep getting it mixed up because I feel like we're already there.
I know.
The
It's interesting.
timelines get like a little
They just
muddied.
collapse. I know.
Mhm.
Interesting. Very interesting. It's getting more and more interesting every day.
Yeah, we just have to make it through this
It's
mystery.
12:12.
Oh, I have 912.
Good night, JK. Thank you again for your input.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being
Support.
here with us, everyone.
Yes.
So, all right, guys.
Right.
So,
Well, we'll be reconvening soon, and I really appreciate everyone's energy and time.
yes, and thank you always, Sunny, for
Yes.
being here with us with your wisdom and expertise. I appreciate you so much because I love talking to you and I love what you bring to the community. So, thank you.
Well, the feeling is mutual, so it's win-win. We'll get through it and soar and be better for it.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to say good night.
All right. Good
All
night,
right.
guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.